Welcome to our little podcast, Hollywood Cats, a podcat about cat stories, cat care tips, and just a fun time to chat about cats. Hollywood Cats is hosted by Holly Meowie, president of the LA Cat Club, a not-for-profit cat rescue. Hollywood Cats is also hosted by Mark Rawlings, fellow cat lover and cat daddy, keeping the dream alive, talking about cats. And now, from the Sunset Strip in Hollywood, here are Holly and Mark, your Hollywood Cats.
Time for another Hollywood Cats podcast, and we took a little summer vacation, if you will, something like that. But I have on the line with me Holly Meowie, my co-host here in the Hollywood podcast, and a good podcast to you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm all, we had our little Leo break because it was Leo season for our birthdays.
That's correct. That is correct.
And I'm back at it with all the cats. I'm back in the mode of talking about cats all day, all night, 24/7.
Sounds good. And then our next one is going to be episode number 50. So that's some kind of a milestone, huh?
Yeah, it'll be our 50th anniversary next week, and I'm very excited because that's a lot of podcasts. That's a lot of cats that we've talked about.
Yeah, that is true.
Cat stuff.
And there are thousands more ahead.
Yeah, I know. It's a big milestone for us, so I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, why don't we talk about a cat that turned yellow? That's kind of a crazy story. Do tell. How did that happen?
Well, I guess a woman from Thailand was trying to treat her cat, had a yeast infection of some kind and a skin fungal infection on its body.
Uh-huh.
And so they use a lot of turmeric in Thailand and different spices for their food and stuff. And she thought, because turmeric has healing properties and anti-inflammatory properties. And she decided that it would be good to rub natural gold turmeric powder on her cat, but not realizing it also stains the fur really bad. So her cat ended up looking like Big Bird.
So she rubs the turmeric all over the cat, and it just becomes the color of the turmeric then, huh?
Yeah, people are... everyone online thought it was hilarious because it started to look like a Pokemon character.
It does, actually.
And so she was posting photos and videos and things on her social media, and the internet went crazy over this yellow cat.
It's pretty cool looking because there's a little bit of white on the face and the rest of it is this color. I thought the cat ate it and it became that color. Well, this makes a lot more sense. So it's kind of just like
I don't know how good
powder.
turmeric would be for a cat to eat.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it is a great spice. I know that I've used it. It's good for weight loss. It's good for many varieties of things like healing in your body and stuff, but it stains. If you grab turmeric powder, your fingertips get really yellow.
Yeah, well, obviously it stains cats too.
Yeah, it totally stained her cat. I mean, and my cat Santa Paws loves to play with feathers, feather toys. Kitties love feathers.
Right.
And a lot of times these companies, they dye the feathers different colors, like red, pink, blue, whatever. And I had brought home this toy for Santa Paws to play with that someone had given me, donated or something. And it turned him pink. It turned all his paws pink, his mouth pink from the dye coming off of the feathers onto his fur because he's pure white. So it does happen.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those things that you get that from things made in China a lot, where it's not made correctly, so the color just comes off on your hands and on cats, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really high quality stuff. So these cat toys, they were donated. So I don't know where they came from, but yeah, the color just rubbed right off, just like this kitty. So
All right.
what happened with the turmeric?
Well, it happens. Well, just to put that one in the record books, a turmeric cat on this Hollywood podcast. That's great.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about a health issue here, and this is something that just happened to one of your cats, right? It's an abscess, right?
Yeah, so during our little break, I went out of town to the Meow Donna Hotel, which is like the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend. It's called the Madonna Inn, but I like to call it the Meow Donna.
Of course you do. Have nothing wrong with that.
And yeah, and I left my brother in charge of my kitties because I trust him. Well, I did. I trust
He's fired.
him, and to take care of my cats when I'm out of town. I got rescues. I've got my own cats. I got dogs. All you name it, I got
a lot.
it.
You got a lot going on there.
When I came home, it was like a movie from The Hangover. It was like The Hangover, the movie. The whole house was in disarray. There was floating candles in the fish tank. But one of the things that happened was Baby Jesus. I have a cat named Baby Jesus. Yes, I do. And he, his whole face on one side had blown up like a balloon.
That's
like
scary.
He looked like the Elephant Man cat version.
Yeah, that's very scary.
Yeah, so I freaked out because his one half of his face was flat, the other half was blown up, and I had to rush him to the vet. And come to find out, my brother, even though he's being told millions of times never to let my cats outside, he let Baby Jesus outside. So something happened to Baby Jesus outside.
So like another animal or something, like a scratch or a bite would do that?
A bite, yeah. So cat abscesses kind of like appear when a puncture wound, a bite mark, a cat bite, a puncture wound happens, and you don't always see where it enters because cats have fur. You don't know
it's
where
under the fur,
it came
sure.
from.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so he had this giant wound, puncture wound, I guess, that wasn't noticeable, and then all of a sudden, it develops a pocket of pus and white blood cells and bacteria that causes the whole area to swell up very big.
So it's just like on a person where it could get like as big as like your cheek or something, or double in size.
Oh yeah, it was the size of a grapefruit.
Wow, on a cat, that's amazing.
How big it got, and then it starts oozing and foul smell, and then he got a fever. His fever was 104.
What's a normal cat temperature?
Lethargic.
What's a normal cat temperature around 102? Something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good question.
Interesting. 104 sounds
really
high, but I know they run hotter.
I thought 104 for an adult is very.
That's pretty high. Yeah, that's like go to the hospital now.
When they told me he was 104, I was like, oh, that sounds really high because I'm thinking an adult.
Right,
exactly. An adult.
Okay.
But they didn't know. They couldn't tell me exactly what it was, like what caused it. But he had to go in and have his cheek cut open and completely drained out.
Wow, seriously.
Now,
so
a lot of times, you know, they can be caused by like dental.
Yeah, that makes sense. Same with people. Like if you have a really bad problem in your mouth with a tooth, it can make the exterior shows up easily.
Yeah, it can show up in your face, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this was like similar, but the vet said that it wasn't from the teeth. So he said his teeth looked great. So definitely wasn't from that. So I believe it was because he was let outside. And, you know, here's like my advice to people because it's a scary thing to happen. I had a cat named Galaxy. You know, she lived till she was about 25 years old. Rest in peace. Now she passed on to the other side. But she got one once, and I didn't notice it. And it ruptured, and I could see her bone.
Wow, that's
through
crazy.
Her leg.
That's crazy. So what? So what do you do? I mean, you take them to the vet, and what does the vet do? Do they do X-rays or do they do shots or all that?
So what happens is they have to drain it. So if it hasn't ruptured yet, they have to make it rupture themselves by cutting a small incision and you have to keep going back to have them continue to drain it. And then they give you Clavamox, which is my holy grail antibiotic for cats. Clavamox has cured so many weird things on cats for me that it's like my holy grail. The stuff only lasts 10 days. Like, so it comes in powder form, and you put the water in and you shake it up, and then it lasts 10 days. But it is the most amazing antibiotic. It cures so many. It's cured eye problems in my cats. Just any bacterial infection, it really attacks it really well and cures it. So he had to be on that.
Oh, okay. So he's okay
and
now.
So he was drained. Then he was on the antibiotics. But so if you see your cat getting like some fluke accident with something is growing out of control big, because once it starts growing, it grows and grows and grows and becomes very large, or becomes a giant hole in your cat's body. And so you have to get it to the vet immediately and have it drained and get on these Clavamox antibodies. Antibiotics.
All right. Interesting. Well, I'm glad he's okay. And it's interesting to learn. I've never seen that in a cat. I think I've seen it in a dog, and certainly with people, but a lot of similarities for sure.
Yeah. So, the meow of the story here is to just prevent. And one thing that I have been preaching every podcast, and we're on our 49th right now, is keep your cats indoors.
And there's no problem.
Save a lot.
Yep, that's true.
Because they get into things outside, and you never know. They could get in a fight. They could get bit by a rat. They could get, puncture wounds, like by hopping a fence and getting a rusty nail in their side. Who knows? But, it's just better safe than sorry, or, you spend a lot of money on that.
There's no good in the outside for cats anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wrap things up with our cat of the week. And who's the lucky winner of the cat of the week here on the Hollywood Cats podcast?
Well, I go to CatCon every year. There's not
You
the
do?
CatCon this year, but I actually met the father of Samson, a.k.a. Catstradamus.
And he's a big cat, Catstradamus is.
Yeah, he's a really big cat. And it's interesting because you're not allowed to actually bring cats to CatCon. They do book some cats like Little Bub and Grumpy Cat. I think's been booked maybe. No, not Grumpy, actually, just Little Bub and some others. But Catstradamus' father dresses up like his cat and goes to CatCon. So I have photos with
Oh, he dresses up as the cat. He dresses up.
Yeah, he has a full costume.
That's pretty awesome.
Of his cat, like a big head, the whole outfit. And me and Kalia, we got some cute photos with him at CatCon a couple years back when we had our booth. And so he has a giant size human costume of his cat that's super fun.
That's really unique.
And so we got to meet his dad.
Very fun. And it's a big cat. It's 28 pounds, and 4 feet long, which is a big cat. So
yeah,
he's just a little bit bigger than.
Like 31 pounds now. He's huge.
Okay.
He's ginormous. And the reason I wanted to make him the cat of the week this week is because he's sick. He's not sick. He's injured at this time. He has some hip issue.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
hope he
felt
gets
really
better for
bad,
sure.
and I'm like, oh, we need to talk about him because he has some sort of pinched nerve or sprain. It's all over his social media, which you can follow him.
I'm looking at it right now. He's a Maine Coon, and he has a lot of followers on Instagram.
And what's his handle on social media?
It is Catstradamus, Catstradamus, as it sounds.
Yeah, so he's got a big social media following, and we're just really rooting for his quick recovery because he's such a fun cat to follow. We love watching him and his dad, and we just really hope he gets better.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get better, Samson, a.k.a. King Catstradamus, our cat of the week here on the Hollywood Cats podcast. Right? Yeah. Are we good with that one? Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, let's wrap things up. Tell people where they can find out more about what you got going on, Holly Meowie.
Well, you can find me at the LA Cat Club on Instagram And you can find me at the LA Cat Club on Twitter. And I am Holly Meowie across the board on social media, so check me out.
Okay, across the board, but never bored, it is Holly Meowie on this Hollywood Cats Pod. Join us next time for our 50th episode. Very excited about that. And certainly thanks for checking us out this time on the Hollywood Cats Podcast.
From Hollywood, you've been listening to Hollywood Cats, stories and facts about cats. Be sure to join us next time for more with Holly and Mark. And don't forget our website, HollywoodCats.com. That's Hollywood and cats ending in Z. HollywoodCats.com. And thanks for joining us on Hollywood Cats.